All right. Attempt number 2. So, yeah, what were we talking about on the other one? Josh Berry, Uncanny Valley with basically Rusty Wallace because the advanced throwback scheme is kind of like a Rusty Wallace throwback scheme. So, I don't know. Is it Uncanny Valley? Is it not Uncanny Valley? I guess I'll put the poll question back up as well. Just putting the poll up real quick, then we'll jump into it. All right, there we go. Is the Advanced 21 Uncanny Valley. Of course, the 21 Advanced car looks very similar to the Rusty Wallace Miller Genuine Draft car. Is it Uncanny Valley to see it on the classic number 21 of the Wood Brothers? I love that it's the sponsorship. I love the Wood Brothers are getting the sponsorship. I love that they got Josh Berry over there. Josh Berry, definitely a guy, in my opinion, that you can build a team up around. He's already got a win this year. I also love the sponsorship. It just looks really weird to basically see a retro, in my opinion, a retro Rusty Wallace paint scheme on a Wood Brothers 21. It's this weird, like, Uncanny Valley situation. So that is the poll question. If you missed the first one, I explained it better on that one. But there you go. There is the poll question. So let's jump into what you guys want to talk about. And I think the last one I was answering about was somebody had asked about Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs going into, and I think it started buffering, and a lot of people missed what I was saying. So Ty Gibbs going into the pits and making contact with the tire of the tire carrier for the 6. Do I think it was dirty, or do I think it's dirty by Ty Gibbs because Larry Mack apparently had something to say about it or gave his 2 cents about it? I don't think what Ty Gibbs did was dirty, and here's why. Ty Gibbs didn't go really close to the wall to try to get into the 6 cars pit or anything like that. He went in and made a normal pit maneuver. So what is he supposed to do when the tire carrier is standing wide? Is it Ty Gibbs' fault that the tire carrier is standing wide? And I know, I get it. RFK has been going crazy on social media all week, trying to make Ty Gibbs look like this bad guy that did it on purpose. But what is Ty Gibbs supposed to do to get into his pit when the tire carrier is standing wide? Like, to me, if anything, it's on the tire carrier, and nobody wants to hear that because the tire carrier is just out there doing his job. He is doing his job, and part of his job is not to get hit by the freaking car. So pay attention. Don't stand wide when you see another car coming in. I know you're trying to get every little bit, trying to make that pit stop as fast as possible, but, safety second. Safety shouldn't be second in that particular situation, right? Think about yourself first. And don't get hit. Don't stand wide when you see another car is coming in there. That's my particular take on it as a tire carrier. Your number one job is to not get hit. So that's just my take on it. I know it might not be popular or whatever because RFK is dominating it with their social media campaign. But dude, you can't stand wide like that. So that's my take on it. If Larry McReynolds disagrees, it is what it is. Everybody has an opinion. But let's see here. Jamie Schweitzer with the super chats. BB, you're Xfinity fast with the poll question. I appreciate it, man. It didn't feel fast. Fist bump, my friend. Appreciate the support there. Quattro re-upping. 16 months flies by fast, my friend. Yo, what's good, BB? And chat, Ross is greater than your favorite driver, says Quattro. So there you go. Quattro always waving the banner for Team Watermelon and the Ross gang, no doubt about it. Charlotte saying buttered sausages. AI has taken over BB YouTube channel, says Joseph Wooden. It might be. Probably will make a better product too. Let's just be real about it. Garrett Wilson and Sauce got contract extensions from the Jets, says in between lanes. There you go. Sauce Gardner, I think's his name. YouTube revoked BB's charter, says Bruce Garvey. There you go. YouTube constantly revoking charters around here. Gold instead of yellow might make it closer to rusty, says Brickyard Brickhead. You can talk about the fine lines of the colors, but let's make no mistake about it. Advance heavily borrowed from the Miller Genuine Draft car for their paint scheme. Let's call it like it is at the end of the day. Because if you look at all of Advance's schemes before that, were red, white, and yellow. Go Google Frank Kimmel if you don't believe me there. Will Riley Herbst win Dover this weekend, says OJ and Toothpaste? And they did it because they teamed up with Ryan Blaney, who is a Penske driver. It's a natural fit for it to be over there at Penske. It doesn't feel like a natural fit when you see it on the Wood Brothers car. But it could just be me. There is the poll question. Yes or no? Buttered sausage or too young to remember Rusty Wallace. So there you go. Those are the options right now. Will Riley Herbst win Dover this weekend, says OJ and Toothpaste? That's a great question. That is a great question. And I'm going to lean heavily to a Earth 2 yes. Earth 2 no. Earth 2 probably not. But we have been surprised before. You never know. Eric Almirola showed up at New Hampshire and wore him out one year, and nobody saw that one coming. So you never bet against anybody. But I'm saying the chances are slim. At a glance, it's a Rusty scheme, says one wise guy. Indeed. It's a heavily borrowed from Rusty scheme. And like I said, Advance did that because they teamed up with Penske, and it's a throwback to a Penske paint scheme. It is what it is. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's great that Josh Berry got the sponsorship there. It looks odd to me, and it just might be a me thing. It looks odd to me on a number 21 Wood Brothers car. Barry is getting a Hans check in the future. And hello again, everybody, says Lovey Barkley. Indeed. If NASCAR gets the charters back, how much do they sell them for? 40 million plus? Question mark, says Bruce Carvey. That's a great question. And I don't know a great answer to that. How much they would sell them for? Probably they would sell them for however much somebody will pay for them. I mean, obviously NASCAR is in the business of making money, but I think the courts would probably have something to say about it. Do you need to compensate 2311 and Front Row Motorsports for taking them away in such a manner? Because you got a legal case going on. If there wasn't a legal case going on, they would have signed them and all this other stuff. So that's for the courts to decide. That's above my head. That's the type of stuff that you really need to be a legal expert to be talking about and answering. So I don't know is probably the short answer to that. But that's why I don't know, I guess. If NASCAR, let's say BB Team Penske, Xfinity return possibly, unless they farm out a driver, according to NASCAR rumor nostalgia. I don't know. I know RFK has talked about getting the Xfinity program going. Penske said they have no real interest in it unless they got a driver coming in. So unless they're going to get rid of Cindric, I don't see, and they don't have a replacement for him, I don't see anybody coming in because I don't think they're going to get rid of Josh Berry at the Wood Brothers. I honestly don't think they'll get rid of Cindric because I think he's performed well enough, unless you're really replacing him with somebody that you think's got a much higher ceiling. And I definitely don't think you're getting rid of the two past champions there in the 12 car and the 22. So, I don't think they have a real need to start up a Xfinity Series team. But I don't know, tinfoil hat, but Reddick the Trackhouse, if they don't get the charter deal handled. Yeah, that's a big question in all of this. If the charter deal doesn't get handled, if 2311 and all and Front Row Motorsports have to run as unchartered teams and they don't have basically the guaranteed starting positions at all races. We saw Corey Heim get bumped in a 2311 car because he wasn't a chartered car when he was trying to make an Xfinity start, got bumped by Catherine Legg at the road course in Chicago. 2311 and Front Row Motorsports, they're drivers that are competing for championships. They don't want to have to deal with that uncertainty of having to qualify for a race. It could be maybe not Tyler Reddick, but any driver, really. Any driver could possibly make that departure to another team. So it would be an interesting, that's going to be an interesting aspect of it. Once again, all of that stuff has to play out. I don't think this is going to be a one-year fix. I do think if it goes to court, it's going to be a really long, drawn-out deal. I think it'll get appealed many times, no matter who wins. So I think we're looking at multiple years if it actually goes to court. And I do think at the end of the day, they probably will at some point both settle because they'll both at some point probably have enough of it. But if they both want to go all the way to the ground, if NASCAR really wants to prove a point to dissuade all these teams, if they really want to go to the ground, or if 2311 wants to go all the way to the ground with it, this is going to be a lengthy process. And I'm already tired of it, just to be real with you. So and the actual trial hasn't even started yet. So I don't know. I don't know. Lovey Barkley saying, what's up to Wise Guy High in between the lanes. MLB All-Star game is on right now, for sure. And when I hop off of here, I'll probably check out a little bit of it. Let's see here. Ty Dillon for the million, says Brickyard Brickhead. He's off to a good start. He's just he's out he's just out surviving people right now. But as it gets to the Final Four, you got to start producing. So we'll see what happens with the number 10 there. In between the lanes, saying what's up to Lovey. Does AIBB on Earth 2 have dreads or a Billy Ray Cyrus haircut? So right now, I guess he would be clean shaven, right? And with long hair, since I have short hair and a long beard, it would be the opposite, right? He would have long hair, probably like dreads would work, long hair, dreads, Pastafarian, perhaps, with a clean cut, shaven face. I like the paint scheme for the 21, Rusty all the way, says Bruce Reed. For sure. Bruce is a big fan of Rusty Wallace, so he loves it either way. So not Uncanny Valley for Bruce. We were talking about that earlier on the Discord. So what's up, Bruce? Always good to see him in here for sure. Add that berry scheme to the scroll. So in between the lanes likes it as well. He's adding it to the scroll of diecast that he wishes to have at his house. What about too old not to remember Rusty Wallace, says PC Gone Rogue? Well, then you're more than welcome to jump in on the yes or no side of it. Or maybe you just want to talk about buttered sausage even more than you want to talk about that 21 card buttered sausage reference to Gary Busey and a weird rant he went off on about buttered sausage. Let's see, acceleratedgraphics.com. That is the merch link. If you want to buy t-shirts, which are on sale for, I think, $10 a piece plus shipping, those are going on right now. Then we got hats and sweatshirts and stickers, and I think that's all we got going on right now. Respect your opinion, BB. I'm just listening to people who know more than me because like I've heard strong takes of varying thoughts. My thing is, if it's not illegal, then he did nothing wrong. Exactly. Ty Dillon did nothing wrong. And so to your point, so Larry Max disagreeing with me. Let me talk about somebody who agreed with me was Kyle Petty. Kyle Petty used to be a tire carrier for Richard Petty back in the day. And he said he got hit several times. And eventually Dale Inman had to come over and say something to him. And the advice that Dale Inman gave him was, it is your job to stay out of the way of the car. That car is just trying to pit. He is not paying attention to you. So Kyle Petty's perspective is kind of where I'm at with it. That car coming in, Ty Gibbs was not worried about the 6 cars pit because he didn't even have the issue with the 6 car. He had the issue with the 17 car. He knows who's pitted behind him. He knows it's not the 17 car. So let's stop those games already. He's not confused because he saw a Build Submarines uniform, because he's not looking at a Build Submarines uniform. He's looking for his pit board, trying to hit his marks going into that pit. He did not hit the tire carrier on purpose. If he was trying to hit somebody on purpose, he would have been way closer to the wall. The guy was standing wide. And Kyle Petty basically called it and said he didn't do anything wrong. It is the tire carrier's job not to get hit in those situations. And the tire carrier was standing mighty wide. If you look at the overhead view, and look, Larry McReynolds, one of the greatest crew chiefs of the sport of all time, was the man with absolute man with Davey Allison back in the day. But that being said, I disagree with him here on this particular point. If you look at the overhead view, Ty Gibbs is coming into his pit at a normal angle, and he's not veering off to hit a tire carrier. So I disagree. And now the real question: does NASCAR need to change the rule? Does the tire carrier need to stay at least on top of the wall? You don't have to necessarily be behind the wall, but you can be standing on the wall. But because the rule is, if you're carrying 2 tires, you can be over there before, just like the gas man can be over before, right? But does NASCAR need to change the rule to where if you're carrying 2 tires, you can be over there sooner, but maybe they need to paint a box where you can't stand that wide? If anything, that's the rule that NASCAR needs to incorporate. You can't stand that wide trying to get an advantage when the car is coming in. So maybe NASCAR needs to take a look at that. But as far as Ty Gibbs, if you look at his entry from the overhead, it's a pretty clean entry. So that's where I stand on it. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Different opinions are what makes life great. So if you have a different opinion than that, I'm not throwing my hands in the air and screaming or anything like that. I understand the other perspective of it. That's just my take on it. You know what I mean? Let's see. Earth 2 NASCAR champion awards a charter if a rookie wins, says Jamie Schweitzer. You get a charter. You get a charter. Earth 2, there are no charters because Earth 2 in that particular regard actually makes more sense than Earth 1. It seems like the question of the week, is there too many road courses, or how many road courses do you think there should be? I think right now, I wouldn't want to see any more. I think this season 6 is definitely enough. Maybe take one away, if anything. But I think 6 is enough. You don't need to do any more than that. That is for sure. I know there's like rumors out there that we might get an extra road race or something like that, or a street course or something like that. I don't think you need to add any extra. If anything, you need to take a look at the overall schedule. And if you have too many of one track, you need to add the tracks that you don't have enough of, would be my guess. So yeah, I think if anything, keep what you have as road courses, or maybe go down by one. But this is right about probably the perfect amount of road courses you need to have. I think the problem with why people don't like the road courses right now is you've had too many of them back to back to back. So maybe stretch out where the road courses are in the season. So I think that would be helpful as well. Let's see. I also have to say that point scoring is dumb. Isn't SVG 20? He's like something like, yeah, he's 26 or somewhere with 3 wins. Is stupid, says Bruce Reed. Yeah. I mean, but he's the perfect guy for that because he's so good at road courses. Just light years right now ahead of everybody else on road courses is what it looks like. So he's the perfect person to be in that position, and I hope he can make some noise in the playoffs, because I think it'll make the playoffs very interesting to have a spoiler like him in it. A lot of people, I don't know. A lot of people don't like that, but I think it's a good thing. A lot of people don't like all the SVG talk. I think it's great what he's doing. So I hope we can put it together on the ovals and get better at those too. So I think it's one of those things where you need to sit back and enjoy what you're seeing and not necessarily hate on it. So that's just coming from the perspective of a guy who didn't appreciate Jeff Gordon's career. And when I look back on it, because I was a Dale Senior fan, when I look back on it, I was like, man, I wish I had the perspective I have now back then, because I really would have appreciated what Jeff Gordon was doing in that time frame, instead of being such a huge hater because I was an Earnhardt fan. So I'm not hating on anything anybody does, especially SVG. The numbers he's putting up, I think fastest to 4 wins in the history of NASCAR. So super cool what he's been able to do. And I know they're all on road courses too, but I mean, you know what I mean? It's just a cool thing that he was able to accomplish. Silly season is going to be wild next year, says one wise guy. Yeah, for sure. With the charters up in the air, it's going to be a wild one for sure. BBI added that Reddick 2025 Chicago Jordan brand scheme to the scroll, says in between the lanes. Yeah, I wish they would make the Slurpee car, and I wish they would make the 7-Eleven car for Kyle Busch, because those definitely need to be. Somebody needs to go to Lionel and talk to him about making those cars as well. Jamie Schweitzer, I believe Chevy didn't want to join this generation car, and a new generation car will be used in Cup before Chevy introduces a new model, says Jamie Schweitzer. You probably are right about that. I don't know what's going on with Chevrolet, why they don't want to produce a car for NASCAR, but it's definitely a weird situation to just be running a Chevrolet body, essentially, of a car that no longer exists. But we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward. Originally, NASCAR gave out charters to teams. So if they pulled them, would they sell them or hand them out to teams? Says Delmer Kaufman. That's a great question. I mean, I don't know. I don't know legally at this point how all that would work. It would be a mess. I'll tell you that much, though. It'd be an absolute mess. That's for sure. Do you think that 2311 will get the injunction before this weekend? Heard today that teams get roughly 1/3 of the money for the event without a charter. Yeah, Bob, that was a number. I do remember that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they're trying to make it happen as soon as possible. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it all plays out. And what argument they would use to do it at this point. I think the best thing, probably just to stop all this back and forth at some point, would just be for the courts to freeze everything, and just whatever happens, whoever wins in court gets paid out, whatever they get paid out. Like if 2311 wins, they would get all the back pay from the charter stuff. If NASCAR wins, 2311 would lose all the pay that they've been getting paid like a charter team up to this point. So it would just have to depend on who won and all that good stuff. But I think the best thing to do for the courts right now would just be to freeze everything so that they just stop bickering and going back and forth about it. Can't wait to see Zillage. And what freezing it means, NASCAR couldn't do anything with it, and 2311 couldn't do anything with it, right? So that would be the way to go about it. I honestly couldn't care about the in-season tournament, but I can't lie, I was glued to the screen to see Ty Dillon, what Ty Dillon does. So yeah, Ty Dillon has been the savior. He has been the savior for the in-season bracket challenge, right? I don't think too many people are keeping up with the bracket challenge, but a lot of people, because of what Ty Dillon, and this is typical of March Madness too, like the Cinderella team is what you pay attention to. Ty Dillon is the Cinderella driver, and he is what people are paying attention to, the 30-something seed, going in there and causing all kinds of chaos and havoc, getting all the way to the Final Four, essentially. So yeah, I think he has made people care about it. And like I said on the video, I don't really care about it, but somebody in the comments section, not on the last video, but on a video a few times back, made a great point that the bracket challenge is great for people who casually watch the sport. It gives them something to tune in and watch the sport for. Whereas, somebody like me, I'm keeping up with all this stuff anyway. So I'm looking all throughout the field at all times anyway to see what's going on. So for me, it doesn't matter because I'm paying attention all the time, but it gives other people a reason to pay attention to other drivers other than their favorite driver. So that was a good point I thought was made about the bracket challenge. The numbers favor Ty to win the stupid bracket, given 3/4 of the remaining drivers are ties, says Charlotte Ender. Yeah, and 3/4 are Toyotas too. So Toyota has a good chance of winning it as well. We should know something tomorrow, I think, with NASCAR taking the charter and purses back, says one wise guy. Good. Hopefully we'll get some info on that. I was going to do Bowman at the end of the race, so it was interesting. Says Dirty Def. Didn't realize they could take the charter purses back, says one wise guy. Yeah, if they won the post injunction or whatever, I don't know how it's all going to play out. Is it going to be a tie versus tie at the Brickyard for $1 million? Says Joseph Wooten. That would be three quarters chance, I guess, would be the odds on that one. Also, if they don't call it a Dillon doll hairs, if Ty Dillon pulls it off, they are absolutely missing the best pun for the moment. So there you go, Dillon doll hairs. So there you go. That's the pun. If Ty Dillon is able to pull it off, it was cool watching all the haulers drive by. My exit off the freeway Sunday night, says OJ and Toothpaste. It was cool, and I appreciate you sharing the pictures with us. Although the 88 hauler just a little too fast for some reason for OJ this weekend, wasn't able to catch it either time, unfortunately. But there's always next year, my friend. I never knew about that hot take legend Kyle Petty being a pit crew member for the King. Yep, he was on there. He was talking about it on the NASCAR YouTube channel. They do a post-race live stream if you guys ever want to check that one out. It's got Kyle Petty and some other people on there, and that's where he was sharing that info there. I saw the highlight of Ty Gibbs' pit road incident. Hard to tell, says in between the lanes. If you look at the overhead, he doesn't really aim at the pit crew guy. He's just going in, making a normal pit. Cars are going a lot faster when KP was on pit road. Look before you leap, says Delmer Kaufman. He talks about that too. He did talk about that too in that particular live. From the 54 onboard, he is much farther to the left than he was on other stops. Doesn't mean he did it on purpose, but it is on tape. Delmer Kaufman, indeed, there was no pit road speed back then when real men really raced real cars for reals, says Charlotte. Looking for ideas for driver auto, says Jake McVeigh. I don't know. Let's see. Watch out for Ryan Truex. He might pull you over for speeding, says in between the lanes. Looking for ideas for a driver, Jake McVeigh. I don't know. Just pick whoever you think, or just pick the best car you like or whatever. Looking for a driver, autograph ideas at the track besides hats, diecast. I got you. Diecast hats or cards, says Jake McVeigh. I don't know. They've autographed pretty much everything. They'll do T-shirts and stuff like that too. So. Anything you would want a John Hancock on, I guess. I don't know. Let me think on it for a minute here. I'm trying to think of something unique other than cards and stuff like that you would want autographed. Some people get the autograph and get it tattooed on them. I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying I've seen that. That's another direction some people go with it. At the beginning of the year, would have bet Hostvar Gregson would have won a race. Glad I didn't waste my money, says Bruce Carvey. There's still plenty of season to go for both of those guys. Gregson is a streaky driver, and Carson Hocevar will eventually figure it out one day. The talent is definitely there. Should have 5 total road courses, 4 road courses, 1 street course, says Joseph Wooten. Yeah, that's not a terrible number. I can live with that for sure. In Larry's defense, he said he didn't do anything illegal, but he studied all of Ty's stops Sunday, and that's the only time that he went close to the wall all day. But I agree, BB. I don't like it. Change the rule. That's where I'm at with it. You shouldn't be put in that situation to begin with. So just fix the rule. Fix the rule is probably the best thing to do for NASCAR there. Let's see here. I want the Slurpee and 7-Eleven cars as well. Yeah, me too. I really wish Lionel would figure it out with 7-Eleven company and make that happen. I would like to see them keep Sonoma and the Glen, do 1 international race, 1 street course, and rotate the 5th. Most importantly, ditch the Roval, says Jesse Daly. So yeah, the Roval is one that I think a lot of people would like to see just go back to Charlotte or maybe go to another racetrack. I don't think a lot of people are really super in love with the Roval. My silly season prediction is Dale Jr. announces he will race in the Daytona 500 next year, says Jamie Slice. Concussion issues and stuff like that. Concussion is going to be in a super speedway race. Probably ever out of the cards, regardless. So, but keep the dream alive if that's what you want to see. Bold predictions. Tyler Reddick replaces Alex Bowman in the 48 after 2311 and Front Row Motorsports lose the lawsuit. That would be a big power move from Hendrick. Tyler Reddick, certainly one of the best up-and-coming prospects. He's not even an up-and-coming prospect. One of the best drivers out there talent-wise, in my opinion. So that would be a huge gain for Hendrick. But don't sleep on Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman can get it done, too. He is a wheel man as well. So it's not like you're getting a huge improvement, because I do think that Alex Bowman is a highly competitive driver as well. So if NASCAR gets the charters back and then sells the money, that sale gets divided amongst all the other charter teams, which wouldn't be bad for all those teams, says Dirty Def. Yeah, I don't know how it would work out. Like I said, the courts would basically have to figure all that stuff out. That's definitely above my pay grade, my friend. The bracket challenge has been better than the TNT coverage, says Joseph Wooten. Yeah, TNT has had some bad angles, that's for sure. Charlotte saying you botched the BB. It's the Dillion doll hairs. 1 dillion doll hairs. So there you go. That is the slogan or the pun that they should be using if Ty Dillon is able to win the million. The Dillion million doll hairs. 88 hauler was on Turbo Boost, and yes, I'm pissed I didn't get a picture, but I saw it with my own eyes too. Late LOL, says OJ and Toothpaste. There you go. You at least you got to see it. Like, the main thing is you got to see it, right? We missed out on the picture, but you got to see it, so that's the main thing. The Brain saying if he wins the bracket, my new nickname will be Ty will be a Dillionaire. Become a Dillionaire, says the Brain. Also, if the 6 cars continue without a charter, then NASCAR takes that extra money they save by not paying those teams, and that money gets divided amongst the charter teams. Yeah, oh yeah, probably, for sure. Hey, BB, apparently Ram watches your channel because rumor is they are looking to cast a show for a driver. That being said, I would like to upgrade my 08 Ram with 250K, says Sir Wood Rooster. There you go. That was a good year for him, for sure. Yeah, I did see that. I'm glad you brought that up, because I kept forgetting to talk about it on some of the lives. That's going to be a cool deal if they can make it happen. It'll be sort of like the Gong Show that Roush did back in the day, and I do think that would put a spotlight on a lot of drivers that otherwise might not have a following. So that would be one way of getting them out there. I think it'd be a cool idea, and hopefully they can come up with a way to make it happen. Ryan Trix Jr. the third has New Jersey State Police as his sponsor for his home track. Says in between the lanes, one of his mini home tracks. So there you go. That's going to be a cool deal for that to happen. Let's see this weekend at Dover. There are things drivers can autograph, but they are not YouTube friendly parts, says Joseph Wooten. So there you go. Enough said there. Like Bernie Mac said in what was it, Ocean's 11? Enough said. There is a Ocean's 13. I'll take that back. I think it was Ocean's 13. There is enough season and winning drivers left without a win that it is possible to get 16 winners before the chase, says Charlotte. Indeed. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I want to see maximum always. If we're going to have a playoff, let's see maximum chaos, just like we've seen maximum chaos in the bracket challenge. If you're going to have a playoff, do it properly. Let's have maximum chaos. BB, who do you think most likely to win the 4 races other than Larson? I like Christopher Bell. Ironically enough, Christopher Bell, I think, would be the other pick there. And even though he's only got one win, don't sleep on Willie B. William Byron would be another pick that I would make there because he's super streaky and he could get on a heater here, like a Ryan Blaney did the year he won the championship. He's the type of guy that could get on a heater at the right time and bust out 3 wins and win that championship. So I wouldn't sleep on him either. Denny Hamlin, it's hard to bet against Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin, I think statistically at Dover he could do it this weekend at Dover, actually, because he's statistically really good at Dover. So those will be the 3 off the top of my head. Should we have a race at Talladega going the opposite direction, says OJ and Toothpaste. They do it like an April Fool's Day. They flip a coin and you pick a direction as to which way you're going to go on the racetrack. Who's better, Corey Heim or Connor Zilich, says Sir Wood Rooster. I would give the advantage on road courses to Corey Heim. On short tracks, I would give it. On road courses to Connor Zilich. On short tracks to Corey Heim. Intermediates, I would say it's probably a dead even tie. So whatever you value more, do you value short tracks or do you value road courses more? That would probably tip your scale if you were picking those 2 drivers to start a team with. Boo, Roval, bring back Road America for the 4th of July, says Charlotte. So there you go. Charlotte's pick to get rid of the Roval is to bring back Road America on the 4th of July. Have you heard the rumor about Dodge approaching Ross in Victory Lane at the Coke 600 and also meeting with Trackhouse at Chicago? Have you heard that? I haven't heard that necessarily outright, but it just makes sense for Trackhouse to be the number 1 team over at Dodge than to be like the number 2 or 3 team over there at Chevrolet. You know what I mean? So, yeah, if you're Trackhouse, you definitely have to entertain that. Is Honda talking to Trackhouse? Trackhouse would definitely be one of those teams you talk to if you're a manufacturer trying to come into the sport. There's no doubt about that. That being said, you would have to buy and Dodge knows this though, they would have to buy out contracts from Chevrolet because Ross and all those guys are under Chevrolet contracts. Kyle Petty's Petty Enterprise 711 car was a great paint scheme, says Delmer Kaufman. It was indeed. And I've got the Wood Brothers Sitco one was a good one too for Kyle Petty. Another crossover Uncanny Valley, a Petty driving a Wood Brothers car. That was Uncanny Valley too. Would be pretty wacky if given the Richard Petty versus David Pearson situation. Also, Dale Jr. driving for Hendrick was Uncanny Valley. So there's been a lot of Uncanny Valley stuff in NASCAR back in the day. Would be pretty wacky if John Hunter, Nemechek, and Legacy were both able to win the bracket challenge based on Gibbs or 2311 team for the championship would be wild. Yeah. The bracket challenge has not gone the way anybody thought it was going to go. We'll definitely that's definitely an easy one to say for sure. Wasn't Ross a Dodge driver with Brad Kay's truck team, or was that Ford at that point? Says Charlotte. You know what? I don't know. That's a tough call. I just know that Ross Chastain drove everything he could get his hands on trying to break into NASCAR, and he was always making it finish 4 or 5 spots better than people who previously drove it before him. So I always like that about Ross. And Carson Hocevar is another guy that reminds me of that. And they both have a similar MO of driving out of control and running into people too. So they both of those guys really remind me of each other as it goes, as far as that goes. I completely forgot. What was the announcement by Junior Motorsports, the Brickyard with Carson and Voppel? I haven't heard anything, so I guess the announcement wasn't that big. I don't know. I forgot all about it too. Amy will not allow Dale Jr. to race the Daytona 500, says Joseph. Yeah, I think I heard something about that too. But either way, I'm pretty sure it's a safe bet, and there won't be any more of those because the reason he got out there was because of concussions. Let's see. Speaking of TNT being bad, the start of the Chicago race, Adam Alexander said, and we're underway, and they showed the cars were there with dead silence for the first 20 seconds. No car sound, says Lovey Barkley. Unfortunate. Apparently NASCAR's YouTube was doing the hauler route from Sonoma to Dover. Haven't watched it yet. It says in between the lanes. Haven't seen it yet. So, well, there you go. Now you're aware. They do a live stream after the race. So check them out. Kyle Petty is on there. They do a pretty good job. Iceberg does a good job too. He does one right after the race is in. So definitely check out Iceberg too. Show him some love as well. If NASCAR sold the charters, seems like the team buying them would actually own it, says Delmer Kaufman. Yeah, that's what they're in court about, basically. So we'll see. Dodge returns to the Cup Series in 2027 with the Dodge Daytona Turbo Z. Says Jamie Schweitzer. That would be interesting if it happens. I was at Dover last year. Says In Between the Lanes. Hey, there you go. Hopefully you can get back there again. That's definitely a track on my list. Dover and New Hampshire, as far as and Watkins Glen and Pocono are on my list for northern tracks that I haven't been to yet. I really like the old Dodge Cummins 2014 and before. Says OJ and Toothpaste. Oh yeah. Anything with a Cummins in it, for the most part, with the exception of a Nissan. The Nissan Cummins had a few issues, so I'd stay away from that one. But anything with a Cummins in it, general rule of thumb, is a pretty good purchase. I just watched some Bernie Mac this morning, says Lovey Barkley. Bernie Mac was the man. In Between the Lanes, saying Pago, SVG, Dodge, Red Bull, and CZ, Connor Zillich and Ross would be cool, says OJ and Toothpaste. For sure. Yeah. Could you imagine Dodge branding with SVG and Ross Chastain? That would go crazy. If it happens, allegedly, and all that good stuff. Let's see. Petto Award ended Honda's dominance at the Iowa doubleheader race. Heard Palou won race number 2, says In Between Lanes. Okay, there you go. I'll take your word for it. I don't keep up with IndyCar quite like that. Where you at on Doug Rice's all-star race idea? He said it should be a select few Cup, Xfinity, and trucks all on the track racing each other. I think it could be cool. Yeah, so that would like his idea for that is essentially like an IMSA race where you got different classifications of cars on the track. You know what? It's an exhibition race. Give it a try, and let's see what happens. Get the best 12 from each series, and let's see what happens. The only bad thing is at certain tracks, the Xfinity car is going to outrun the Cup car. So that might be one obstacle, if you watch Oh Brother Where Art Thou, that they might not be able to overcome. Charles Russia says, bad luck Toyota drivers, they don't want to race. Not sure what that means. Let's see. Do you think Keelan Harvick will race in Cup for a great team in the future, says OJ and Toothpaste? Yeah, no doubt about it. He's already got Hendrick sponsorship, so he's well taken care of. Just see that Kaz Grala is replaced, and he's had Trackhouse on the side of his car at times as well, so he's going to be well taken care of for sure. Just saw that Kaz Grala is replacing Chris Wright in the number 5 Xfinity car. He is. Chris Wright is out at Our Motorsports. Kaz Grala is in, so keep your eye out for Kaz Grala. He always gets the job done. The junior announcement was Roto-Rooter signing up as a sponsorship deal, says Jamie Switch. So there you go, Roto-Rooter on the side of the Junior Motorsports cars going forward. That was my first ever NASCAR race at Dover in 2024, says In Between, and I bet you had a good time. I always tell people, when you go to the races live, it's a whole different experience, and it's way, way, way more fun. Did you pre-order the SVG Sonoma diecast? That I did, my friend, and I knew he would win a race, and I was hoping it would be in the Red Bull car, and thank goodness it did happen. So that I did put the order in for that one. In Between the Lanes, that's awesome. My first race was Atlanta Spring in 2023, says Lovey Barkley. So there you go. Lovey Barkley's first race was Atlanta. Nice, says Lanes. If you're Trackhouse, would you take the Dodge deal, says Dirty Duff? I'd have to think about it because Dodge has hopped in and out. But to be fair to Dodge, this last time, Dodge didn't want to hop out. Penske chose to go with Ford because they thought Ford offered them a better deal. And it's hard to argue against that, given what Penske has done. They've got 2 championships, I think, with Ford, as opposed to they got 1 championship with Brad Keselowski and Dodge, right? So that being said, Dodge can make the arguments that they didn't want to get out last time. So it just depends on what they could sell. Trackhouse, if I was Trackhouse is an aggressive team. I don't think Trackhouse would be scared of it, because even if Dodge pulls back out, Trackhouse is still going to be in good enough shape and a good enough position to still get a major deal from another major manufacturer. So to me, personally, if I was offered the Dodge deal, I'd take it in a heartbeat. Because you're the number 1 team, you're getting the number 1 equipment, and you're just going to be the star of that show over there. So yeah, I'd take it all day. And like I said, if Dodge pulls out again, you're still in great position to sign with another manufacturer if they pulled out or whatever. Let's see. My first NASCAR race was a 1975 World 600, where Petty became the only driver to win his 600th start. That's a great one. That's a great one to go to. Awesome. That's a cool deal. I heard Verstappen might leave Red Bull for Mercedes, says OJ and Toothpaste. That would be major. That would be major over there. But that happens in F1 a lot. It's crazy. I never thought Lewis would leave Mercedes, but he ended up leaving. So it's always interesting, the politics and the moves that are made in Formula One. Do you think the right choice? And I didn't expect Christian Horner to be ousted at Red Bull either. So that was another shocking turn of events over there in F1. And that's like the extent of my F1 knowledge. We've maxed it out. Other than Ferrari's thebomb.com. Do you think the right choice, taking out Corey and putting in Haley, looking at the season as a whole? Says one wise guy. My only real takeaway from that is the 7 car has got some issues over there. Like, for whatever reason, the 7 car is not as good as the other 2 cars at Spire. And it doesn't seem to matter what driver you put in that car. The results are the same. So I would take a look at that 7 team and see what they're off on relative to your other cars speed wise. But yeah, until they get the 7 car figured out, I don't know if you could put anybody in there and make that thing run good. I did, BB. If you ask me, greatest sporting event I've ever been to out of all the major sports is In Between the Lanes. I kind of feel the same way about it, my friend. Do you think Noah Gragson will be? And as far as baseball games go, I've been to minor league stadiums that were way more fun than major league stadiums. So it's always interesting the in-person experience at different sporting events. Do you think Noah Gragson will be in the 4 car next year? I think so, yeah, because I think he brings in good sponsorship and stuff like that. That's what Doug Rice said. They do an IMSA. You bring up a great point. They wouldn't want the Cup car to ever lose. But besides that, I think it's a cool idea, something different. Yeah, for sure. I think it would be a really cool deal. Doug Rice, the man. That's a great idea from him. So shout out to Doug Rice, former. I think he was the former head of all things on PRN, and a super cool dude. Super cool dude behind the scenes. Justin Marks looking like the smartest man in NASCAR at the moment, says one wise guy. BB, did you talk about Cody Ware breaking the steering wheel and cracking his Hans device at Chicago, says Lovey Barkley? I think we talked about it on one of the live streams, but yeah, that was a nasty hit. Glad he's okay. And hopefully NASCAR takes a look at all that data and they can figure out what to do with that going forward. Maybe the car's still a little too rigid. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything you can do when a car hits that hard. So that was a straight line with no brakes. I don't know if there's anything that can be done about that. My first race was 1976, Old Richmond Fairgrounds winner, Cale Yarborough, says Delmer Kaufman. So there you go. Cale Yarborough, always a good win. You see the hats right there somewhere. There you go. Cale Yarborough hat over there somewhere. Shout out to Cale Yarborough. Words are hard for me today, says one wise guy. Words are hard for me every day. I feel your pain, brother. Earth 2, Roto-Rooter sponsors the second tier series and has winners that say flowed like Roto-Rooter on the track, says Jamie Schweitzer. Yeah, I think it might do it as well. With this car, the engine would seem like the most important thing for Dodge to be competitive, while the cars in the past would take new parts for the entire car. Yeah, for sure. As long as the engine program's up to snuff, I think they can figure out everything else, because it's really just like a nose and some fender flares and a little bit of stuff on the hood. So I think they can figure it out. Will SVG win the Glen and the Roval? He would have to be the odds-on favorite, I would say. So I wouldn't bet against him. I'd say that. Very different from seeing it on TV, hear the roar of the engines and feel the heat when the cars pass by. I was sitting towards turn 1 facing pit road, right in front of my seats. Turn 1, usually a good place to sit because you got a good view of start finish line. Have you already talked about the 7 of Justin Haley getting the Xfinity fastest lap, says Sir Wood Rooster? I have not, but good for Justin Haley getting the Xfinity fastest lap at Sonoma there. So Justin Haley putting the tires on and cranking it. 9 wins. Number 9 is going to win the Glen, says one wise guy. So he's picking Chase Elliott to win the Glen. BB, who are you thinking will win Dover on Earth 1? I think by numbers, Dover is a Denny Hamlin track. So without having the numbers in front of me, I think Denny Hamlin has the best average finish. It was a Martin Truex Jr. track, so look out for Chase Briscoe as like a spoiler there. Don't forget Zilich racing the Glen and Cup, says Bruce Carvey. Yeah, Connor Zilich, don't sleep on him. He was turning the fastest laps at COTA with a basically a broken race car. So don't sleep on him at the Glen. Good call, Bruce Carvey. Did you hear about how bad the attendance was for the IndyCar Iowa? Only 6,000 tickets sold for the Saturday and Sunday. Oh, that is not good. That is a bad thing. Unfortunate, because IndyCar, from what everybody's told me, IndyCar is a fun event to go to. Like, you can walk up and talk to all the fans and stuff like that. That's unfortunate. I hate that. Did you know SVG, before he won Chicago in his first start, says OJ and Toothpaste? Yeah, because I watched some supercar stuff back in the day. The most memorable thing about SVG back in the day, he had a good rivalry going with Scott McLaughlin. Back in the day, he drove the Red Bull car, and I want to say McLaughlin was driving the Shell car over there in supercars. And they, I don't know if McLaughlin won the race or if SVG won the race, but they were both on the podium. And SVG drove his car in so close, because the doors open in supercars for you to get out. He parked his car on the podium stuff so close to Scott McLaughlin that he couldn't get out of his car. So that was sort of one of the first things I remember about SVG, and that's kind of what made me a fan of him. That's what I started, and that in the Red Bull car. I like the Red Bull cars. I think they look good. So that was kind of the first introduction to him, and what made me start following him. And then when they said he was coming over to NASCAR, I was like, hell yeah, that's cool as shit. So I was pretty stoked about that. So yeah, I had heard of him before the Chicago deal. 0-2, National League is up. Otani is up to bat. There you go. Catherine Legg has finished better than Carson Hocevar 4 times she competed against him, says Jamie Schweitzer. So there you go. Catherine Legg owns Carson Hocevar in all bracket challenges. Do you think the success by SVG will have teams looking to something similar to bring someone from outside in? Yeah, for sure. Will Brown. I think RCR has already brought him in for some info. Trackhouse has completely became a player as far as wins with the big three. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And I think that would be a great move for Dodge or Honda to slide in and get them, if the rumors about Honda are true. We know the rumors about Dodge turned out to be true. Catherine Legg finished higher than Carson Hocevar in all of her starts this year, says Lovey Barkley. Shout out to Scotty Mack, who saw a storm of some sort in his recent vlog. Yeah, there you go. Scott McLaughlin does have a vlog, so check that out too. I always forget about that. So does Daniel Suarez. So check out Daniel Suarez. His latest vlog is up and out. Went to IndyCar in Sonoma. What a blast. Everyone was nice, says Sir Wood Rooster. That's what I hear. I'd love to see an IndyCar event. I need to check out when one is near me. I saw the highlight of SVG versus Scott. SVG said he doesn't care. He blocked his door in. LOL, says OJ and Toothpaste. I haven't heard it, but reportedly Legg blasted Hocevar on the radio at Sonoma. That's hilarious. I'm going to check that one out. Sorry, Jamie Schweitzer. I think we hit send at the same time, says Lovey Barkley. So I did see something about Catherine Legg talking junk about Hocevar. So I'll have to look that one up and see exactly what she was talking about. All right. Looks like we reached the end of it. Final results of the poll question. 41% say yes. The 21 is in Uncanny Valley due to the Rusty Wallace. Looks like a Rusty Wallace Miller Genuine Draft car on a Wood Brothers car. 26% said no. 4% said too young to remember Rusty, so I don't know. And 30% want to talk about buttered sausages. So next live stream, we're going to figure out what buttered sausages are, why they're here, who likes them, and whatever else Gary Busey said. All right. Until the next one, y'all take them easy. Peace. Let's talk about buttered sausages.